Trying to keep myself together for this video.
I'm so far out of sight. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I just decided to do this video with my natural look. I'm not wearing any makeup right now, so this is actually an impromptu video. It was completely unplanned. I just decided to do this video because it's kind of like a video diary. I've never done a video diary before. I don't even write in my diary anymore. I just started back using a diary. It's been years. But I just decided to do this video to share some things that's been going on with me and just to keep it real. And my hair is just back. I don't have on no jewelry, this is just me, natural with my brows, that's it. I lost like 10-15 pounds. I think 10 pounds. I was 97 when I started. Now I'm like 87, in the 80s. I'm technically underweight, and I don't want to say it's depression because I've been through that before. I don't like the way that I'm looking. You can see my bones and everything else. So yeah, I'm not feeling I guess I'll start back. It's been a few years. Back in I want to say 2014. I graduated in 2012 in high school, and in 2014 I decided to go to school. I was going to college. I didn't think I had another choice. It was something that was suggested that I go to school for, and I had no idea what else I wanted to do, so I decided to go ahead and go through it. It was for a program. I was EKG. So basically what we did was we took the leads and did the EKGs on people when they come in for heart valve problems, or also monitor like heart rhythms and stuff like that. And I had this feeling when I first started the program that I really didn't want to be there. I didn't want to do that, but I ignored it. Even when I would go through the class, I just kind of just went on with it, and it's always how I've been. Like, I don't listen to my inner promptings. Like, if I feel a certain kind of way, if I don't want to do something, or if something is not like sitting well with me, I kind of just go over it. Like, I don't really get into my emotions. You know how some people, when they feel some kind of way, like if they feel like they're not comfortable with something, then, you know, they kind of like listen to it, and or if they're stressed, they kind of listen to their feelings and they say, hey, I don't feel, you know, this is not what I want to do. Okay, I didn't feel like that. I had these rules in my head that said, okay, you must do this, so you have to do it. So I didn't feel like there was nothing else that I can do. So I went through the program, and fast forward 2014, April, I got my certificate. I got my first job, and I was working night shift. And when I started working night shift, my diet changed. I was only eating once a day. I would wake up. I had to be to work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I would eat, go to work. No, wait, I would wake up, bring my dinner to work, eat my dinner, and then in between until 7 a.m. I would just snack and just eat on stuff until breakfast time, which is basically, I had a backwards schedule. I would eat breakfast later on in the day. So that's how it was from 2014 all the way to, I want to say, I left my last night shift job in April of 2016, which is when I left. My highest weight was, I think, 127, 126 before I started working. So I went into between, and then when I left that job, I worked at a hospital. I had took the test. I was a monitoring tech in the telemetry, and what they do is they monitor the heart rhythms live, basically. Like when you're inpatient, they have the monitoring, and they monitor your rhythms, make sure, you know, your heart rhythms are stable. And you have somebody, whenever you're in the hospital and you're staying there 24/7, you have somebody that's monitoring your heart 24/7. So that's what I was doing. And I took that test. First time I took it, I didn't pass. Took it again, didn't pass. Then after I got a year's experience at my first job, I left and I went to the hospital. I don't know why I was trying so bad to get into the hospital, because when I was doing my clinicals there, For my original program, I had to do my clinicals at that hospital, and I didn't really want to do that either. So I left, and like I said, fast forward back, I went to take that test 2 more times at the hospital, and then the 3rd time's a charm. After my year's experience, I went and took it again, and I passed. So I got a call for an interview, and I was hired. This was 2015 of August. So when I started working at the hospital, I still had this uncomfortable feeling. Before I decided to do that, I was going to school, fresh out of high school. When I graduated in 2012, I was going to be a dietitian. But then I changed my mind because I wasn't liking the starting salary of dietitians when I was looking up stuff online. So I dropped out, and I didn't know what else I was gonna go to school for. My mom, she was like, you need to find something else to do. And then she gave me stuff about EKGs. So I was like, okay, I looked into it, and I was like, it wasn't really interesting, but I just decided to just go with it. So fast forward, I'm at the hospital, and I think this is where things went downhill for me mentally. This was my 2nd week of training. After all, you know, when you work at a hospital and it's your first time, you have to do training, you have to go to sessions and all that. So this was my first day, night shift, regular training, and I was training. There was 3 other techs. There's 4 of us. We work in a little cubicle, and we monitor. So during my break, I was in the break room, and this was the first day. I had just started my first day, and I had a feeling. I couldn't really explain it, but it just wasn't sitting right with me. So when I took my 30-minute break, I went to the break room, and I was in there for about 15 minutes, and then I just started crying. I just bursted out crying. I was in there by myself, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was crying, but it took me, it was just, I just couldn't stop crying. There was just a flood of tears, just crying. And I didn't know why, what was going on with me, where those emotions came from, but they just came flooding. And I was looking around, I was hoping that nobody would come in and see me. I dried my tears, and I was like, I don't know where that came from. Mom feeling this way. But I just kind of sat there, and I sat with that feeling, and I was just drying my tears, trying to hurry up and get rid of it, because I didn't know where that feeling came from. But I dried them, and I went back to work, and I think that was the first sign for me that I should have just left. That it was basically, it was like my inner self trying to let me know, hey, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're not happy, you don't want to do this, what are you doing? But I kind of just pushed it down. I just got off break, and I just, you know, just kept on going. So about 7 or 8 months later, this was in August when I first started training, and about 8 months later, I left in April of 2016. And I think that was the first time that I had gone through feelings of depression and sadness. This was like a heavy feeling. I was having problems with sleep. I couldn't sleep right, and I think this is when my body started to kind of turn in on it. I was having some technical difficulties with my camera. My camera had just randomly cut off on me, so the battery was low. I had to come upstairs and film this video. It was affecting my sleep, my quality of my sleep. It was affecting my health, and it was affecting it was just a lot going on for me. And I had like a dark cloud over me every single day. When I would wake up, it was just, you know, it was just a feeling of, and honestly, I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all right now as I'm talking about this. I really don't like to talk about it, what was going on with me at that time, because I started to feel, so when I talk about this stuff, you know, it makes me feel a certain kind of way physically. So I wasn't even gonna make a video like this because I just don't like to put myself out there like that. But yesterday I just had this feeling where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, you know, make a video because I don't really talk to anybody. I finally quit. I quit the job, and it was, like I said, it was affecting my sleep. I didn't even know what sleep paralysis was at the time, but it was affecting my sleep schedule. and I was having issues with sleeping. I couldn't sleep in my room. I was having weird dreams. My dreams were highly vivid, very, very emotional dreams, and my breaking point was when I would go to work, I would be crying. You know, we work 12-hour shifts, so I would work 2 on, 2 off. So imagine going to work, at least out of one of those shifts, out of the 2, you're crying. I would go to the restroom and I would cry. I would go back, come to work, pull myself together, and it's like, girl, how many field trials do you need before it's like you need to just leave? That was a warning sign when I had that first emotional breakdown, and I hadn't even got to the job all the way. That was my first day. I got tired of my sleep schedule being off. You know, everybody in my family, all of my family, they work days, so I had to sleep. And then if there was something going on during the day, I had to sleep and wake up. So I left. I was like, I can't do any more night shifts. That job was stressful for me, and I didn't realize how stressful it was for me physically until I left. And I took a break after I left, and my periods were like really heavy. This is probably TMI for some of y'all. It was affecting me there, and it was come home into my home life, so I couldn't focus. Like I said, getting up, I'd feel heavy, like I wouldn't even want to wake up. I guess you would call it depression. Like I said, I didn't know what depression was. You know, I would always keep myself together, but it had become too much to where I couldn't hide it anymore. You know, my face was sunken in. It was like a no. I felt oppressed. I felt like this heavy feeling every single day, and I would cry and I would pray and I would ask God, you know, to just bring me out of this. Let me know what I need to do, because I'm so adaptable. Like if I have to do something, you know, I just shut up and I deal with it. But I just wanted to keep the topic on my body and how, you know, I've been over the last 3 years. Like I said, I'm just trying to gain my way back, and I'll be keeping you guys updated with what's going on in my life. I will try to do more videos whenever I have time, but like I said, I'll be busy in school. I'm going to school. Back in May, I got into a car accident, and it was a head-on collision. I was keeping straight, and I was in the left lane. You know how there's 2 lanes, and someone, what she did was she pulled out of the neighborhood, and I'm driving. Like, I don't know how to do my hands, but you know how like you're driving, and let's say that you're in the left lane and someone's pulling out of a neighborhood. It's 2 lanes, so I'm driving, and then she pulls out into the right lane, but she pulls out also. She basically pulled out in front of me, but I was already like, I didn't have any time to brake, because I didn't think that she was going to pull out into the right lane and then pull out into my lane. So she pulled out into my lane. I didn't have time to brake, so I hit her car, and then her car knocked my car into oncoming traffic, which was coming this way. So it was basically like a head-on collision, and everything happened so fast. I blacked out when I went into the other person's lane, so it was like boom, like it was like a really fast collision. I mean, it just happened like so fast. I didn't process it or anything. I didn't even give myself time to process it. As soon as it happened, I just hopped out of the car because the smoke was everywhere. I could barely breathe, so there was black smoke everywhere. And initially I was pissed off when I got out of the car, but I stayed calm because, first of all, like I said, I couldn't breathe. I think it was the smoke from the car that had me to where I couldn't breathe. So I got out and I walked around. First thing I did was whip out my phone, called my mom, told her what happened, called my dad, called the cops. And then there were 3 girls. The person that I hit, there were 3 girls that came out of that van. The girl that caused the accident, she was over there by herself, and she looked like she was out of it. I didn't say anything to her. I didn't confront her. I was pissed off, but I said, you know what, I just gotta, let me get the footage. So I recorded it. The whole thing was unexpected. I've always, you know, prayed for traveling grace, but my thing was, you know, I got out of the vehicle. When I tell people, even when my mom tells people what happened to me, you know, everybody, they just look at me. When my mom came there to the scene, she looked at me, she was shook. Like, you know, she was like, you're still here, you're still whole. And I couldn't process anything, because when things happen like that, like when high emotional situations happen, I kind of shut down. So I was talking to the guy from the pickup truck, the tow truck. He came, picked me up, took me to the store because they had to clean up the scene. And my mom was at work, so she came right down. My dad, like I said, the tow truck guy took me to the corner store so my mom can come and meet up. And she took footage, and she came up to me and she's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like, she was, you know, really shook, and she looked like, you know, she was trying to keep it together. But I was, you know, I was just taking pictures, taking videos, you know. I didn't even process it. Like, I just got out. I just hopped out of the car. As soon as my mom came, that's when, you know, she was crying, and well, she was trying to keep it together, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And she was just surprised that I was alive. It gets real. So I know for a fact that God protected me when that happened, because I got out of that. I wasn't injured. All I had a busted lip up under my top lip. The day after, I was sore. All this was sore, but I didn't have any broken bones. You know, I was protected in that vehicle when that happened. And when I left, actually that day when I left my house, I was just going to get something to eat. I was going to get lunch. I was going to get Chick-fil-A. And I never leave to go get lunch. I usually make my own lunch. So I just felt like I wanted some Chick-fil-A that day. And I left, and I was just driving. But for some reason, I had a feeling that I normally didn't have when I left that day. I don't know if I can explain it. It's like, you know how you're always doing something, but you have like a weird feeling. I was just driving, and the Chick-fil-A is like right down the street from my house, like less than 15 minutes. But something just didn't feel right. I was like, I don't know why I feel like this, but I don't know. It was just a weird feeling. It's hard to explain. It's like it was like an unsettling feeling. The day after, you know, it just kept playing in my mind, just the impact of it. And I had blacked out. Like, as soon as the impact happened, I blacked out. I got out of consciousness for a bit. Like, I literally saw black. Like, as soon as I hit the car, I went black. And then I woke back up. And it was smoke. I was inhaling everything. That's why I had to hurry up and hop out of the car. I had to pray over it, because, you know, I realized that what happened, you know, the day after, you know, anytime I'd be alone, I would think about it. It would replay into my mind. I'm still trying to move on. Even when I drive now, I still, you know, I get a little shaken up whenever I see somebody pulling out. I'm always, you know, I don't slam on my brakes, but I'm always ready, you know. And it sucks because I drive a lot. So I have to pray every time I get in the car. I pray for protection, and I pray. But back to the main point was the fact that I know that God was watching over me, because I couldn't have been alive. I could have, you know, broken bones. I could have got out of that car. The airbag, the impact from the airbag, the heat, I could have had burns, scraped. I couldn't have got alive, but I know that God protected me, and that I got out of that car like full mind and body. I was protected. I just know that God has me here for a reason, and I know that I couldn't have made it through that if He doesn't have something planned for me. So I was a little bit scared, but I'm moving on from that, and I'm able to drive with God's strength and His help, and everything else that I've gone through in the past, you know, 2 to 3 years. I know that with His strength I can keep going. So I got another car, and I'll be starting school in the fall, in August. Actually, it is August, so I'll be starting school, and I'm excited about that. And I have a lot of new stuff happening. You know, I'm trying to get my weight back, and I'm trying to, you know, just get myself together. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying not to do too much, you know, because all this is new for me. With me going back to school, I've never, you know, went to school for this before, so this is all new for me. But, you know, I'm trying. And I just thought that I'd share that testimony to let you guys know that anybody who's a non-believer out there, He is real. And a lot of people like to write off stuff like that, saying it's a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. And I know that I am here for a reason, because if not, I could have died that day. Like, I could have that collision, the impact from the collision, I could have been gone. But God was protecting my vehicle. He knew what was going to happen when I left my house that day. And he had his angels surrounding me and protecting me, you know, my body. I'm just glad that, you know, I didn't have any complications from the accident. My body is still well. I can breathe. I didn't break any bones. I was able to walk out of that vehicle. You know, now mentally, I was a little bit off. Like I said, I'm still recovering from it. I'm praying every night. Even when I get in the vehicle and when I drive now, I'm still a little bit paranoid. But it'll take some years. I'll get over it. And I know that God is always protecting me and watching over me. Whatever the enemy tried to do, you know, it didn't work. I know that God is always protecting me. And I know that the enemy, you know, he's real, he's alive, but I'm protected by God, and I'm always praying. Yeah, I just thought that I'd share that with you. And for anybody else that's out there that's going through what I'm going through, don't hold things in. Express yourself. If you feel uncomfortable in your life, if you're unhappy and you don't know who to turn to or who to talk to, but you can try, you know, going to a therapist, praying, go to church, read your Bible. Whenever you feel depressed or whenever you feel like you're down, always turn to God, always pray. He has all the strength that you need. When you can't do it on your own, just always pray, ask God for strength. If I'm unhappy, I'm just gonna leave a situation and not feel like I'm trapped or stuck there, because that's what I was feeling. That was nothing but the enemy lying to me, making it seem like I was trapped, making it seem like there was nothing else that I can do, you know, making it, what I was having in my head at that time was there's nothing else I can do. I'm stuck here. I could not leave the job. Like, I literally, there was nobody forcing me there, but I felt like I could not leave. It's hard to explain, but I know now that I have a choice in every single thing that I do, and if something's not working for me, I will leave. I just thought that I'd let you guys know what's been going on with me, and just thought that I'd reach out and just let y'all get to see me, you know, for just keep it real with y'all, let y'all know what's been going on. But down, if anyone else has gone through anything like this and y'all have any suggestions or how you went about, you know, situations like this, maybe if you're around my age in your early 20s and you're going through the same thing, or you have gone through the same thing, you know, just let me know how you went through it, how you went about it. Peace, love, blessings. And I will see y'all in